Be on now? Okay. It's about time to start Bible class this morning. This morning we have a guest speaker. Let's see, I don't see I see Alex and Caleb, but that's it for the teams. This morning we have Lynn's husband, Augustine. Augustine Tawiah from Ghana. I asked him for a biography or an introduction, so I'll read what he sent me. Augustine and his wife Lynn Tawiah come to us from Ghana, where they serve as missionaries for the Church of Christ. Augustine was baptized through the World Bible School program. He came to stateside for his ministry education, where he obtained graduate degrees from Lipscomb and Harding. He met Lynn in Memphis, and they moved back to Ghana over 22 years ago. They have established as well as strengthened scores of congregations in Ghana. They continue to develop preachers and teachers who win souls for the Lord in Ghana and surrounding countries in Africa. They have also helped with health, education, agriculture, and water. They have been blessed with 3 adult children. I've met Augustine, I think, over 25 years ago. The congregation we went to in Corpus Christi was one of his supporting congregations. I think I met Lynn before Lynn met. I met Augustine before Lynn met Augustine. So we go way back. But one thing he didn't mention in his bio was his humility. There's things that I find out about Augustine all the time that I never knew before. One thing he didn't mention was his education. He's been big into self-education. Besides getting a bachelor's in Ghana, he's had 4 master's degrees and 2 doctorates from the U.S. So that's quite an achievement. He's been the president of the Accra School of Preaching in Ghana. He started he grew up in a village on the west side of Ghana where I think he just went to elementary school, and then you had to go to a neighboring town for the secondary because they didn't have that, and then to Accra for high school. Is that right? Something like that. But one thing Augustine has done is to establish a school in his home village, and now they graduate people with associate degree there. So that has turned that part of the country around. It's been a model for much of Ghana. The people in that village told him he was going to Parliament, so they elected him to Parliament, whether he wanted to or not. So he's now part of the Ghana Parliament. He speaks all over the world. Recently he spoke in Nashville and New York, helping many Ghanaians spread the gospel throughout the world. I don't remember if it was Augustine or Gordon that said it, but someone said one day Ghana's going to be sending missionaries to the U.S., and I think that day may be already here. So, Augustine, just clip this on your shirt there.
Thank you. I am glad to be here this morning. I come with appreciation from the people of Ghana. You don't know the little things you do that means a lot to people. Yesterday we met a section of the leadership, and I asked about one of your elders in the 80s called Gordon. And I think Brother Dan said, oh yeah, he was here, he had passed. But I'm telling you, he made a trip to Ghana in about 1985. At the time, there were no elders in our churches in Ghana. And he made quite an awakening about the need for elders, what elders do. He read from the Bible, and then he showed how you do it here. So that little trip really sparked interest in the churches investigating more. about how a preacher and elders work together, and therefore why it was important for us to get elders as early as possible. And now we have several congregations with elders. So his trip, somebody will say that little trip was a catalyst for something big that happened in Ghana. And our brother Russ told me yesterday he is a counselor and he teaches people. And I said, I already have you enrolled. You're going to teach a class in Ghana for preachers because they have to know what their psychological makeup is. They have to be able to take the Myers-Briggs test and find out what their bent is, and therefore whether they are introverts, extroverts, judging, sensing, and all of that. So every opportunity that we get in life is an opportunity to actually serve the Lord. And he talks about my being baptized through World Bible School. A lady in the little town in West Tennessee called Huntington, near Jackson, Tennessee, sent a Bible correspondence course to a friend of mine. And I would go in the evening, do my homework with my friend, and then we'll play ping pong. And one day when I showed up, he had the World Bible School lesson in front of him. So I said, what is this? And he talked about it, and I said, okay, get my name and enroll me. So he sent my name to the teacher. And this little old lady, never married, worked at the factory, sent me the Bible correspondence course. And then when I completed it and checked, I want to be baptized, they sent it to the church in Accra. And they came looking for me and got me baptized. And through that, I have baptized hundreds. I've worked with many, many preachers. We have developed preachers, as I will present to you today. So every bit of something that somebody does in the church has implications and impact on different places. So World Bible School is number one. It's an entry point in my country and all over Africa. And now we are able to send it to schools. They scan it and send it to the teacher. So the same day the students turns it in, you're able to receive it stateside. And that's something seniors can do. Maybe a day you dedicate, you drink coffee and you talk, you visit, and then you grade those lessons. And the youth are encouraged in many congregations to do that, which in some congregations in Tennessee they are doing actively. World Bible School is an entry point all over the world. It's available. I will talk a little bit about our preacher training program that we have used in Ghana and the new ones that we are starting. And then community impact. We live in a very poor world in that part of the world. We have 54 countries in Africa, and all of them are classified as third world. Water, education, sanitation sometimes, and many other needs, health needs, are all around us. They are needs. We cannot take all of them and address them at a go, but we can do one thing at a time and be able to bring relief to people. That somebody will raise up his hand and say, thank you, Lord. We may not know the person, but he's going to stand somewhere and bless the name of the Lord because of what we have done. So it's encouraging that I'm able to visit you here. Jay and his wife have been tremendous, but I will talk about that more as we go. So I hope I'm able to advance this.
Yeah.
Or maybe, okay.
Oh. Can you advance it, Michelle?
You know, that reminds me like modern day miracle workers. They stand there and they're supposed to all of a sudden you don't even see the pen in their hand, and the slides are moving, and he's performing a miracle. Well, not quite. Not yet. Okay. Maybe the battery or something. Okay.
Okay, now we're working.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. So let's begin with Africa. We have 54 countries in Africa, and we are in West Africa. So we are one of the many countries in Africa that were colonized by the British. And that is why we speak English. But we have indigenous languages for every group in my country. So Ghana has 30 million people, and we have 55 ethnic groups. And so you drive 6 miles down the road, and your language ceases because you have moved into a different territory. We are in the same country. So education has been a key for us. And interestingly, we are mourning the Queen this weekend, the Queen of England. We got our independence, the first country in Africa to be independent of the British in 1957. And after that, you have other countries in Africa, Nigeria, Gambia, Sierra Leone, Zimbabwe, Kenya, Uganda. Those are English-speaking countries, and they also had to fight for their independence with the British. So we are part of the Commonwealth, like Canada, and we have the same queen. She came to Ghana in 1961, and also in 1999, and so we have a lot of respect for her and the leadership they have provided, the resources for water and some other things that they have done. Very wonderful. We are surrounded by 3 countries. In the north is a country called Burkina Faso, which is a colony of the French in the past. In the east is Togo, also French. And in the west is Cote d'Ivoire, or what we call Ivory Coast, also French. So we are the only English-speaking country in that territory. But again, if we say English, you have to understand we must come first to our tribal language before we get into English. And we have many tropical things produced in the country. So mangoes, papaya, guava, plantain, bananas, these are all produced in Ghana, and we depend on the land for nearly everything. We do maybe 5% irrigation. The rest of it, all our produce, is based on what God will bless us with, the rain. So everything is rain-fed. One major thing that Ghana does over and above everybody is our premium cocoa. This is the plant where we get chocolate from. So when you go to Hershey, Nestle, or anything like that, and you see them processing chocolates, they will have the cocoa bag, and it will say produce of Ghana. We sell premium cocoa. Our farmers do a fine job at that. I'm in the farm there with my brother. That is his cocoa farm. And you see the cocoa beans, the pod on the tree. So they will chop it off and split it. Then the seed will be fermented for about a week before it will be dried, sun-dried, and then shipped over. This is a group doing the splitting the pods. And below there at the picture on the bottom, I have done that. Sometimes preachers' meetings are held over the cocoa splitting period, because we'll be there for 6 hours, and we'll be able to take our time and talk about things and resolve issues that we have. And meanwhile, we are also working. I mean, We are so used to it, you can have it in your hand, splitting it and talking without even knowing that you are still working. But we will have the time to do certain things that we need to do. Then they will sun dry it, as you see it over there. This is a village where I was, and I helped them a little bit. I have a stick in my mouth, if you see it. Most people in my community don't go to the dentist. They have nor use a toothpaste, but they have sticks that you chew. And as you chew, you brush your teeth, and it's also floss. And so it takes care of quite a number of things. Well, they talk about having fluoride in your toothpaste, which is good for you. We don't quite do that, but we have people who grow older and they still have some teeth. But when we have all of those things, the farmers don't make a lot from it because the plantations are small. And so then we have to provide water. This is a public pipe. When I was growing up, people didn't have indoor plumbing. So you go to a public place and you fetch the water. I'm sure you may have heard of the Church of Christ water project in Ghana. They are based in Searcy, Arkansas. They have done a tremendous job of providing water in northern Ghana. And this is the pipe in my village. I'm sure my wife can see my brother there and some other members of the church. And we are repairing this one. And so you have to use your hand and pump it and get the water that you need. This is northern Ghana, and women walk long distances. And the thing they have over there is about 60 pounds when it's filled with water. And they carry it with the baby at their back. So a lot of what I'm doing is related to water so that we can have it closer to town and people can get it into their houses. These little girls are my nieces, and they are fetching water for the house in the morning before they go to school. Everybody has a pad on their head, and then they put the water there. And I thought this little girl was very ingenious. It had rained. The water got into the barrel, and now she's needing to get it. She's short, so she stood on the gallon to get it. And I'm going to keep this several years from now. I'm going to go back there and ask her about science. When she was in school, as she studied science, what did she learn from her experiences living in the village? Again, a struggle with our education system is the good old computer. This gentleman is drawing a keyboard on the blackboard for the kids. Well, I'm sure Jay will have something to say about it. Knowing about the keyboard is not enough to actually use the computer. Yes. So he did this, and he caught the attention of Microsoft, and they supplied that school with computers. So that was good. But we are always needing computers for our schools in Ghana. So in the midst of all of this, I came to America. And you have a fine country, interstate roads. Nobody stops you. You just drive and go. In Memphis, you have 40. I-40, I-55 going to Jackson, Mississippi, 40 going to East Tennessee, Knoxville, or coming to Little Rock. Well, then you have these big shops. We were talking about the Walmart Super Center. You get virtually everything under the sun in that place. And you can change your oil, you can get a haircut. What do you not get? That's great. And what happens? When we come from our countries, it's so comfortable to stay in America. The challenge is, for some of us, we come with a mission. And if you get all the education and you stay here, you lose the opportunity of serving in your country. And so I spent 11 years here total, but I moved back and I met my wife, like he said. We moved back to Ghana. This is back in Ghana. And you know I'm dressed differently because that's the culture. And behind me there is the Parliament House. And so my office is in that building. It's very interesting to be at the public square and be able to help in the formulation of laws, approving budgets for the country, and many things that we do so that the country can function very well. There are 275 of us, and our parliament is split into two. We have two parties, and we just have 137 and 137. Then there is one independent who basically casts the voting, the casting votes. So the rest of us probably are wasting our time because that one individual decides where the votes will go if they are voting on party lines. But it has been a tremendous opportunity to do that. Then we went to Ghana and adopted 3 children. And I must say it publicly how Jay and his wife helped us. And he may not remember this, but when he heard we were going to adopt children, he took money after church in Corpus and drove all the way to Portland in Gordon's house and brought us money to help us with the legal fees that were involved. So this was the time when we got them. Well, quite some things have changed. These kids in our house in Kumasi playing in the yard. And you see the papaya tree right there in the house. And then we were building the school, and they are with us on the farm at the school. And they are doing hard work. This is Kwame and Ajwa carrying some of the concrete to help us. Then they keep growing, going to school, and growing. They all get baptized. Now they are taller than us. And they graduate from college, and now they are independent. So the help Jay and his wife gave us was a blessing to us so that we can bless these kids who were in the village. They all have college degrees now, and the oldest one to the right, Abena, is married. She's a lawyer now in Nashville. And Ajwa has finished her bachelor's, working on her master's. And Kwame, to the far end there, has finished his bachelor's also. It's a big blessing. And yesterday I was saying, if you really want to learn about eldership, have children. What the Bible says is very, very true. Yes. Staying up night, watching them do their homework and signing it before they go to sleep. Early morning, taking them to school, soccer, everything else, youth groups. It has been a blessing to have these kids. And we thank God that we've been in this situation. Ghana is a very interesting place. We have Christianity of all shades, about 70% of the population. Catholic, Presbyterian, Methodist, they all came with the colonial power. And so they all started churches in the country. Churches of Christ started there in 1958. And we will be about 8% of the population right now. Islam is 19%. So in Ghana, normally the president will be from the Christian faith, and the vice president will be from the Islamic faith. Otherwise, you can't win the ticket. That has been the trend. The indigenous African religions still continue, especially in little towns where people don't have any education, any exposure. The Cedars congregation in Wilmington, Delaware, started the work in 1958. They sent missionaries there, and they did good work and started a few churches they could, and also the Bible college. And so they trained people to take over after them. And every year they send somebody to serve with us. Again, World Bible School is very important, and it has helped us in all our work there. And I think in the picture there is Brian Davis, who is now the president. It used to be John Reese, and now it's Brian, based here in Austin, Cedar Park. And they come over, they have representatives in Ghana who work with us. We go to the schools like this and give out the lessons, and then the students will complete it. Then we will scan it and send it to the teachers. Then we'll go to the school and have a graduation ceremony. This picture, we have students there with their certificates and Bibles. And many of these students that complete the lessons are baptized. Then I begin another dimension of it. The Bible says, go out and teach and baptize. But after you have baptized them, do what? Teach them to observe all things. And so we have to make them disciples by integrating them into a local congregation, ensuring that they have spiritual nourishment to grow. And part of what we are doing is even to help them also on the college campuses where many of them will find themselves. So the church is growing in different places in Ghana. In Accra, for example, the Odoko congregation is about 800. The NSAWAM Road Church is the biggest in Africa. It's the biggest congregation in Africa. They are about 3,000 members. And it has been a blessing to do so many things with them, with their leadership. I preached at this congregation in the 80s, the Usu congregation. And it's in a low-income area. The building there is about 16 years in construction. We have gone a little more than this. But our code system for building allows us to use it while we are still building on it. And so we don't borrow money from the bank and just construct fully before. We build as we go. As we accumulate money, this week we may buy 20 bags of cement and sand and mold some blocks. And the next week we'll continue like that. I spent 12 years at the Ghana Bible College as the president, directing the program. This classroom building was built in the 90s, but we have other buildings that were built earlier. And people in America contributed money to enable these buildings to occur. But the training program trains the people to get the certification to teach as well. So when you finish the Bible college, they can send you to anywhere in the country and you will teach to make a living for yourself. So the college has served the church very well. On the campus of the Bible college, we have the Bamso congregation, which is the second largest in Ghana. And this is a typical graduation day with our faculty and staff. I'll be between the two men in the front there. We take the students out for community service. Ministry is not only about sitting in the building as a resident theologian. People show up with their problems and then you solve it. You have to step out and go to the community. So the things that are lacking in the community, we equip our students to be able to go there and work in those communities. We develop preachers. In recent times, one of the things I have emphasized is we seem to have more children than we need. In the past, it was easy. You have a lot of children, they go with you to the farm. And today, you have to keep them in school. The average child will spend 25 years in Ghana before they will be independent. That means if you have 4 children, you can't use a car, you have to use a van. And it comes with a lot of responsibilities. So we are working with our preachers not to have too many. The fellow here is Castro. He was a teacher at the Lamplighter school, and he was the preacher also. And the same with Adai Chuneboa. He has 5, and they've done good work. But you know, when you have so many children, they wear you down. A generation ago, it was fun to have them. And the principle was, you have many children, some will die and some will remain. Through the good work of doctors, God has blessed us now with vaccinations. And so they get vaccination against diphtheria, measles, mumps, the childhood killer diseases. So most of the children are living, but what are they eating? What are they wearing? So we want them to have less children. This is our little school that we started. Now it is a big school. So we started with the goal of having up to 4th grade. Then every year we add a grade. Well, so we wanted 30 students in the class. The first day of school, when we said we are opening our doors, we had 251 children. So all the bathrooms that we had not completed, we converted all of them into classrooms because we were now going to put in the toilet seat and everything. He said, no. Kids need a place to have classes. So we've had good experience. Then we are also doing teacher education. And alongside, it will be like a Harding or a Lipscomb situation. They take Bible classes, they go to chapel, and we are even trying to have a program where students will also prepare for the ministry. So by the time they get their degree, they are also ready for ministry in our country. This is a nurse, a lady who lives in Germantown, Memphis area, Mona Patterson. She came and spent time with us in 2008 when we were very new. And this little girl there was supported. Amma Rose, now she's a grown woman, independent. She finished high school, and she's doing very well in her life. Again, we do work with the chiefs because the land is in the hands of the chiefs. You have to ensure there's peace in the place. And also to get training, we have something we call ADR, Alternative Dispute Resolution. Instead of just going to court and get a lawyer, we rather have them to talk when there's an issue, when there's misunderstanding. And so I have done quite a number of projects with them so that they can have the skill sets and be able to work with the people. This is a typical classroom setting at the Bible college where I'm teaching, and sometimes they are watching things, video that I will put up there. Again, this is an African dress, and if you are going to meet with the big people, you have to wear the dress that is appropriate in that context. We've had short-term missions. People choose to come in the summer to come, and this group here came and do teacher professional development. They are teachers, and they wanted to do something. So one was a science teacher and took our teachers through several experiments. Another was a computer teacher. They came from Oklahoma City and did a fine job. I visit the schools all the time. I got injured from playing soccer with the kids. Well, if you are 60, you have to be careful how you run with them. And so now I'm on crutches, but I still went out there. We also work with the Muslims. We are not saying they are lost, so that's all there is. If you catch them young, you are able to get into their worldview. So in the past, they had a school where they only memorized the Quran. And we have gone in to do a program with them where they have English and Arabic schools. So they go in 7:30 in the morning to study Arabic, the Quran, until 9:30. Then they switch into math, science, and everything else a child needs to study in order to be successful in life. When they were doing English and Arabic and the Quran, it didn't give them any skills. And so they couldn't function in the country. And these are the people that can be enlisted by terrorists and other criminal elements to do things that are not right. So there are teachers who come to Lamplighter. We expose them to Christianity. We establish good friendship with them. And hopefully we'll be able to build a network, a sense of engagement that can get us into other areas. Again, with the chiefs here. We have fairs where we demonstrate the food that are produced. And here you see many more of the tubers, the plantain, bananas, garden eggs, and some other items that we have. And we encourage that. I also serve on a committee in Parliament on international relations with other countries. And I'm assigned to 4 countries: Canada, Israel, India, and Japan. So the Israeli ambassador consults with us as they try to help with agricultural life in Ghana. And this is the U.S. ambassador. She just left Ghana for another one to take her place. She and her husband, and we were in the function. Lane is there, so I have been in several functions with her. Very, very nice person, really an advocate for the United States as a good representative would do. Yes. We also work with the nonprofits. This gentleman, Kofi Asare, is very active in keeping the government on her toes so that there are no leakages and seepages of money from politicians. And so they do quite a lot of good work in that direction. This is Parliament. This is at the Bible College. And we have children's Bible classes at our congregations. The church is involved in health issues. Here you find a Church of Christ Mission Clinic in YENDI in the north. It's a Muslim area. And people from the US have stayed there for several years trying to help with that. This is the beginning of Lamplighter, and you see the wood on the hallway, but the classes were going on. This is the chief again in the village. We had a group from Corpus Christi who came to help us. Gordon, who introduced me to Jay and the rest. And somebody had developed patches that when you put it on, it provides you with vitamins that fight against malaria. Malaria is the #1 killer in Africa and even in India. So the patches protect you. And so they put the patches on the kids, and they observed and wrote reports. Hopefully one day we will get a final solution. It will be a big break. We also do adult education. If you are teaching the children and you don't teach their parents, they will take the same bad practices. The parents are going to tell them, oh no, this is for school, but at home this is how we do it. So we help with the parents as well. And that has helped very well. This is the group from the US. And we have a variety of approaches. Some use art. The lady there is an art teacher, and the kids are looking to us for direction. Our preachers, somebody brought them Bibles, and they work with the community. A graduation at the Bible College. Mangoes is a big deal in Ghana. We have them everywhere. We are starting a new girls' school that will be based on science. And again, everything I'm drawn in. This is a soccer game. The captain is introducing me to everybody to shake their hands. This is school principals. I'm speaking to them. So there are tremendous opportunities. We live next to the game and wildlife. And so we have chimpanzee, elephants, and so forth in our forest. And it has been a big tourism thing. So we are really trying to promote it. Again, this is after church over there, and these are brothers. We are looking at the land here for construction. We also have my first day at school. I go out and give kids kits. It has pencils, pen, erasers, and bags in some cases. So we distribute this with some drinks, fruit drinks for the children. So these are some of them. The game and wildlife people came to my office recently to talk about ways in which we can improve so that people don't get into the forest and kill the animals. In May, we had a king from Ghana in Memphis. I don't know whether you saw it on TV. It was a big thing, and we happened to be there. So they were on Beale Street in Memphis, Tennessee, and it was very interesting. I spoke to about 4,000 people at this program recently, right back in August. The Catholic Church organized them, and they invited me. We have an environment club at the school where we clean up, and we are also preparing a nice garden. These are my fellow parliamentarians right there in Parliament. And these are preachers who are going to be in our campus ministry. This gentleman there from America is a teacher at our Bible college. This is Dr. Hufford from Harding University. He spent 3 months with us from February through April this year. And we just had dinner in his home with his wife in Memphis. He's done so much work. He's now taught how to wear the cloth too. Now he has his on. But this is him teaching the campus ministry work we are involved in. So it's been a big blessing to have people short-term, long-term. Again, this is him with our principal at the college. Some of our teachers, and this my kids during my last graduation and the college there. We had these ladies from Memphis. They came over also to help us. The lady is a counselor and was a commander in the U.S. Navy. And they came and taught our classes at the college. Okay, this is the last. So we have many opportunities there for short-term mission, for supporting students. Lane is going to build a library, health facilities that we have, memorial gifts for constructing classrooms, and many other things that can be done. But prayers, 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 prayer. Don't forget to pray for us. And somebody tried to write a song there. You came from heaven to show the way from the earth to the sky, my debt to pay, from the cross to the grave, from the grave to the sky. Lord, I lift up your name on high. It may not be written well, but the Lord's name is being lifted everywhere. And this is my last slide. This is the pulpit at Lakeview in Corpus Christi. Yes, and Jay and his wife were members there, and we had great friendship. It's sad they are moving, but closer to Memphis. But we hope that we'll be able to continue a relationship with you here and do so many things. Again, thank you for sending Elder Gordon in the 80s our way. We pray that we'll be able to do so many things together. I mean, the Lord bless this congregation in many places so that we stay faithful to the Bible. And thank you very much.